Welcome back, trainers. So we're going to be taking a look at some more PvP battles with some Boulder Cup eligible Pokemon as well. And first off, we have Snorlax versus Munchlax. Very interesting. Now, we do not coordinate to tell each other which Pokemon to pick, just the CP, and then it's just randomized here. So we do have the Munchlax coming in with the Body Slam first, and now the Snorlax hitting it up second. Did you see the damage? The Munchlax is just crazy, guys. I did receive mine as well from a trade from him. It did not get great IVs, so I'm just going to have to wait for a better one. I know the IVs don't matter too much in PvP, but anyways, in comes Skarmory. Now, we did a lot of various different tests going up against it, different types of Pokemon. The thing is just an absolute beast. If you don't have something necessarily to counter it, you're going to be stuck in a bad situation. So what I'm going to do here is just Hydro Pump and Water Gun as much as I can to get rid of that threat here, because my team is not looking so hot to defend that with that Body Slam not being very effective. So we go ahead and take that out with the Blastoise, and in comes the Munchlax again with the Body Slam ready to go. I decide to take it because I want to save my shield. I survive with like 1 HP, and out goes the Hydro Cannon. He blocks it. So yeah, I do have a Toxicroak here, which is able to do a lot of damage. It does have Poison Jab. I should probably switch that to counter. That was for a specific deal in the past. But anyways, we do have our Dynamic Punch ready here. This is where I made a big mistake. I should have done that move and just got him out of there. So I do have 2 Dynamic Punches ready to go. We're going to get off one as quick as possible onto that Wish Cast. I should have done it even faster. And now I'm going to actually waste a Dynamic Punch. That's unfortunate there. So I have my Body Slam ready to go right off the bat. That's another thing you should do, is to hold your charge moves when you retreat your Pokemon, so you are able to just hit them up hard when you bring them in. So we're going to take that Mud Bomb. Wish Cast is a nasty Pokemon as well if you don't have a counter. And if you're thinking about using it in the Boulder Cup, it's not going to be a horrible decision to make, because the thing is fairly nice, all right? And it's only going to be weak to grass types. Into the next battle. So we have the Crobat versus Scizor. He was receiving a bit of lag there. I was not attacking for a second, so I am going to be doing neutral damage with my flying type moves, and I already know he doesn't have a secondary move, X Scissors, so I'm not going to waste my shield there, and I'm going to hold on my charge move, because I was thinking I'm going to just attack with my wing attack all the way through and charge up my moves, so I'm able to have a whole bunch ready for the next Pokemon. So Typhlosion is just kind of sitting there. I don't know if the animation just wasn't happening. Going to hit him up with another Shadow Ball, and we were receiving some more lag. So if that is happening to you, don't quit the battle quite yet. Sometimes it might just sit there, and just give it a second. Anyways, we're going to continue to hit up that Typhlosion, and I do use my shield. No, I take the hit. Okay, and down it goes. Now we're going to go ahead and bring in Donphin for just that one tap KO. And now we're going to see we have a Gyarados. So the matchup right here is absolutely horrible for me. We're just going to let that Donphin faint out and bring in our Steelix. We have 2 shields. It does have Twister, so that's not very effective, but I still want to preserve my health. I didn't really realize that it was going to be using that. And I'm going to just keep on going with the Crunch. So if you're thinking about going to the Boulder Cup with a Steelix, you do have a lot of Pokemon you need to worry about, fighting types, ground types, and even water types. But, you know, if they don't have necessarily all of those, which more than likely they would, then you should be looking okay. Say you're matched up with a Skarmory, you should be able to just either Dragon Tail or Iron Tail, which are not going to be very effective to Skarmory, and then Crunch away, which is going to be neutral damage. So that is something to consider. Steelix is a great Pokemon, but it does have quite a bit of weaknesses in this Boulder Cup, so it's not going to be your best option. So we are matched up with the Scizor here, not doing very much damage to me. I still have 1 shield, and I do not use it. I'm just going to go ahead and go for that Crunch and basically finish it off almost. Just a couple more quick attacks. So yeah, Steelix is really strong and can wall a lot of Pokemon, but at the same time, if you do have fire, fighting, ground, you should be fairly okay to take it out, right? So next match, I'm going to be using my Kangaskhan here. Spent quite a bit of rare candies to purchase that secondary move and power it up, because I don't get very much of those here in Alaska, right? Only through the eggs when those were available, and then the couple trades that I did. All right, and I do have the Rhyperior out here with the quick move being ground, so it's not doing that much damage to Charizard. We are going to hit it up with Surf though, and that is a pretty good one. Charges fairly quick and good coverage as well. We're going to go ahead and use the shield here because Blast Burn would definitely take us out. Even though it's not very effective, those strong moves still do a lot of damage, so something to consider as well. You can't just tank through not very effective moves most of the time. We're going to go ahead and do Stone Edge here, and hopefully he does not block, and he does. All right, and the Rhyperior is down. Now we're going to go ahead and bring in our newly made Togekiss with the Hidden Power Ghost. So there you go. You can see the damage it's putting onto that Mewtwo. I decided to shield up because I want to preserve this Togekiss as long as I can. Did not realize it had Shadow Ball. It wouldn't have done that much damage, but I still wanted to keep as much health as I can. Hitting it up with Aerial Ace and finishing off that Mewtwo. In comes Ampharos. So I'm going to be taking super effective damage and dealing neutral. Don't really want to do Aerial Ace because that's not going to do much damage, unfortunately. But he does have Dragon Pulse, so that is a good sign. Now I'm going to be able to do Dazzling Gleam, neutral damage, quite a bit as well. But he blocks it, okay. So no more shields on either end. And now I'm down to my last Pokemon. Let's see what we have. And that's going to be Kingish Khan with the Quick Move Ground. So I'm going to be doing super effective damage there as well as the Earthquake. But I should be able to just do the crunch because there's no point. The health was low enough before he got off another charge and finished me off. And that is game for that one as well. Good game. Now on to the next one. We have the Omastar versus Blossom. So Blossom is going to be doing a lot of damage with that quick grass move, as you can see there, just easily ripping through that thing because it is both water and grass types. So yeah, pretty nice. And Blossom, take note as well, is a fairly tanky little Pokemon that can take hits quite well in certain situations. Now, Floatzel, here we go, the star here, guys. This is only a 2000 CP. Now we're doing Ultra League, okay? We bounce back, now this is Ultra League. Everything he's using is about 2500, but this Floatzel is actually 2000 CP, so 500 behind everything else, and it's still performing nice. Yes, he's going up against a super effective Pokemon, but still, watch the Mewtwo here. So we still have a little bit amount of health. We're going to go and do that Aqua Jet. Haven't purchased a secondary move yet because they're all going to be water type moves. I figured Aqua Jet's fine for now. So it is just ripping through the Mewtwo with Water Gun. If that was a 2500 CP or around there, Floatzel, man oh man, it would be doing a little bit more damage. So keep that in mind. Floatzel is actually fairly good. Wow, I'm excited to use it some more. We're going to finish it off with that Magmortar there. All right, good match, good game. And into the next one, I'm going to be personally using Skarmory now. So that Munchlax is going to have Body Slam like we've seen before. Not very effective to the Skarmory. Now, you're not going to see Munchlax in the Boulder Cup, but still you have a general idea as to the performance of the Skarmory. So if you do get stuck up against this in a tournament, what are you going to want to counter it? You have Magneton, Melmetal, Hitmonchan, and that's almost it. I mean, it's going to be weak to electric and fire type, so whatever Pokemon you can get with those moves will suit the situation. So I'm going to retreat, seeing I'm taking super effective damage from that Raichu there into my Nidoking. Now, I did evolve this, and I purchased a secondary move because I want to see how it performed. I wanted to give it a shot. I mean, the charge moves for Nidoking are, I wouldn't say horrible, but they're not great because one charge moves are just going to take forever, leaving you way too vulnerable out there. So I do have Mega Horn, fortunately, for this Hypno here. He does not shield. Hypno is a fairly tanky Pokemon as well, dishing out a decent amount of damage. If you do have Psyshock, that is a magnificent move to have in the PvP match. Now we do have the Slowking out here, taking not very effective damage from that Zen Headbutt I do believe it had. And really like my Slowking. It has great coverage. Once again, though, it does not have a double or triple charge move. They're only going to be one charge moves, taking a little bit of time to finally get up there. But you do have Water Gun, which is going to protect you to some degree, doing a good amount of damage plus stab. In comes the Munchlax, and I'm just going to take the hit there and just finish it off with the Water Gun. And that's another good game. All right, so this next match is going to be a lesson for you to learn. You need coverage, and you shouldn't go into a match with things that are weak to one type, like all flying, right? So I'm starting it off with Blossom. I already knew I lose. He has the Skarmory, I have Sceptile and Toxicroak, all of which are going to be weak to that Sky Attack. So I'm going to shield here to try to do whatever I can to survive. I do have Bullet Seed currently on my Sceptile. I do decide to go with Earthquake because it's going to be doing more damage than my flying move. So it does take it down to almost half health, and I'm just going to keep surviving here. At this point, I should just hit it up with Air Slash, Sky Attack. I wasn't going to use another shield at that point. So Toxicroak with the Poison Jab, not very effective. I have Mud Bomb and Dynamic Punch. I guess I'm just going to hit it up with that Dynamic Punch, get some stab in there, and it shields up. All right, so let's see what I decide to do and use the shield as well, because I want to get that Dynamic Punch onto it. So he is retreating and bringing in Drapion, which is going to be okay here. I'm going to be able to hit it with super effective damage with that ground, and it takes it down quite a bit. So pretty good in that regard. I do have no more shields here, but I should be safe because, well, I'm poison type, but I wasn't able to survive that. In comes the Blossom, dealing not very effective damage really with that poison type move. And Drapion has been proven to work pretty good in PvP, especially in the Great League, Ultra League as well. All right. And we're off into the next match here. So we're starting it off with the Gliscor. He's going with Sandslash. I don't have anything to worry about here because it's going to have ground and rock moves, both of which of these Pokemon are going to be eligible for the Boulder Cup tournament. You do have to look out for ice moves on that Gliscor, because it's going to be extremely weak to those being a ground and flying type. So we are going to go ahead and take Boulder Hit. Not very effective, seeing that we are part flying type, and we're just going to continue to go with that Aerial Ace, seeing that Earthquake is not going to do much for us except for leave us more vulnerable out there. In comes the Azumarill, so we're just going to continue to go with Aerial Ace. We are taking super effective damage from that bubble because we are part ground type, so that is something to consider as well. And we're just going to town here, getting as many of these in before it faints. There's no point in switching. We're already in a good situation here, and it put in the work it needed to already. So I do have Melmetal and Breloom. I'm going to go ahead and go in here with Breloom. He immediately switches into Chatot, which is just eating my health. Did you see that? Extreme damage. So the Chatot isn't that strong as far as defense and HP, but still it tore into that Breloom, being extremely weak to flying types, grass, and fighting Pokemon. In comes the Melmetal with Thundershock and Rock Slide. Let's see if we're able to pull the win here. So I do have 2 shields left. I mean, I didn't use any, and there I go ahead and use one now. That Hydro Pump would have hurt. Not super effective, but it's still going to do a lot of damage. And I didn't even use my Rock Slide, just kind of Thundershocked away. So thank you for watching, traders, and I'll be catching you all next time.